Auch diese Map komplett aufgedeckt schon. Ich meine nicht, dass das auch beim Junkyard zum Beispiel so war. Seltsam, echt. Okay, Fässer nach Oddities durchsuchen. Hier geht's runter. Ganz kurz gucken. Ist das ein Haus oder sowas? Oder ist es ein Ausgang? Wie Lower Underrails oder so? Nee, scheint ganz andere also scheint zur Stadt zu gehören. Meine ich damit. Vielleicht ist das die eigentliche Foundry sozusagen. Eieiei. Es wird doch eine größere Sache hier, wie es aussieht. Okay, erstmal hochschauen. Da darf ich nicht rein. Hier auch nicht. Na gut. Ah, das scheint diese Residential Area zu sein. Wo die gewöhnlichen Leute leben. Würde erklären, warum ich nirgends rein darf, warum so viele Commoners hier rumstehen. Eine Oddity, jawohl. Schweine. Da darf ich sogar rein. Hallo, Messer. You see a stout middle-aged man butchering a pig. You observe the motions he makes with each cut and notice how every single one is performed with great ease and accuracy, reflecting years and years of experience. After a few moments, the man puts his knife aside and wipes his hands clean. After that, he turns to you with a slight smile, then begins speaking in a baritone voice of unusual warmth with just a hint of huskiness in it. Why, hello there. I haven't seen you around here before. I'm Kirk Mesa, the local butcher, as you can probably see. What do you need? Okay, die klassischen Fragen erstmal. What can you tell me about Foundry? I'm guessing I don't need to say anything about the pollution, cause you can experience that for yourself. Yeah, a piece of advice: be careful what you eat, drink, and remember to wear your respirators so the foul air doesn't slowly kill you. It's like smoking. Your throat is the first thing to go after a while, and then, depending on your luck, your health slowly sleeps down the same tunnel. Yet so many people live here despite all that. Well, you lose on one front but win on several others. The iron mine brings in a lot of money to Foundry, and people like money. Loves. Yeah, also the Foundry guard keeps us safe from the iron hands, and we've never had any of the raider jackasses penetrate the outer perimeter. Since I moved here, I literally forgot what it's like to live in fear of raiders. And despite the fact that the crime rate has gone up in the last few months, I still feel perfectly safe. What's the quality of the meat you offer here? Let's put it this way. He cuts a piece of meat on the cutting table and shows it to you. Just look at the color of this one. Smell it. I don't sell muck. This is fresh and quality meat. If you're worried about Foundry's pollution problems affecting the meat quality, don't be. Messer eats the raw piece of meat he just showed you. Good stuff. See, I'm eating it raw. That's how confident I am in its quality. So, yeah, I think that should be enough proof. Purchase your meat here and you're golden. Do those bums from the slums cause you any problems? Ist ein bisschen wüst zu fragen. Und wieder weiß ich nicht, wie mein Charakter eigentlich drauf kommt, aber na gut. Yeah, I'd not talk about it. He continues, cutting the meat on the table. Let's talk about something else. How do you feel about those mine creatures? Well, I don't like them. I think that should be obvious, yeah. They've killed miners and foundry guardsmen are responsible for the temporary closing of the mine, but if we put all that aside for a moment, I often wonder what they taste like. You know, if their meat is edible and tastes at least somewhat good, I could become the only one who can offer that unique meat. In whole South Underrail. Get your rocky steaks at Messer's, yeah. Messer drifts off for a moment, obviously thinking about his hypothetical future. He becomes aware of what he is doing though and looks at you again. Anyway, what can I do for you? Klingt nach einer interessanten Quest. Schreibe ich mir gerade mal auf. Foundry. Reacher. Fleisch. So. SS. Shop. Bringen? Fragezeichen? Okay, er hat jetzt nichts wirklich Tolles für mich. Aber nimmt auch nichts von mir. Gut, dann bin ich da auch durch. Da geht's nochmal weiter. Hier da darf ich erst wieder rein. Komme ich aber vielleicht auch von hier aus so runter. Nee. Ich habe erstmal hier oben. Und hier ist Chief. Hallo Chief. The man pays no attention to you since he seems to be engaged in a conversation with the other man. Das bist wahrscheinlich du. Major. A pair of frowning eyes track you as you make your approach. Before you is a thin, short man wearing a well-made leather vest with finely polished shoulder pads cast out of metal, and his coal-black gloves, leather boots and pants seem to be of the same high quality. He addresses you with a tone of voice appropriate to his displeased expression. What is the meaning of this? Who are you? Actually, doesn't really matter anyway. We're busy, so if you could please leave us to our discussion, we would really appreciate it. I apologize for disturbing you, but I need to ask you a couple of questions. Are you the major of this place? He briefly exchanges looks with the man standing next to him. Yes, I see where this is headed. Fine, I'm Martin Marshall, and you're right. I am the major of Foundry. The gentleman next to me is Chief Dalton Banner of the Foundry Guard. The chief's appearance is quite the opposite of the major's, as he is both taller and wider shouldered, and his mere presence you felt the instant you entered the room. Yet, despite his imposing image, his calm and collected behavior is in contrast to the major's so far feverish temperament. Thus, the chief politely nods after having been introduced. Well then, who are you? I am Flyly. Pleased to meet you both. Flyly, that's well and good indeed. Now that we're properly introduced, unless you have something of utmost importance to tell us, I am going to have to ask you to leave. Ja, er sagt, er nimmt sich Zeit für mich und sagt dann als erstes, ich soll wieder gehen. I heard you have problems with some mine creatures. Is there anything I can do to help? I am sure you did. But please, let me tell you something. Foundry is one of the richest and best defended stations in Lower Underrail. We have so many well-trained and well-armed men and women to take on anyone who tries to disturb us. Why would you need your help? Also ich könnte hier überzeugen, wobei das ist auch ein bisschen unverschämt eigentlich. Also ich werfe ihm vor, sie sind unfähig. Weil wenn sie gut wären, hätten sie schon erledigt. Prime Persuasion ist aber nicht so hoch. Ich glaube, ich probiere mal das hier. Well, I come from Southgate Station and I've helped them deal with a number of difficult problems in the past. That's what I do. That's what you say. You do realize I can't exactly trust any random person that walks into my office, do you? I'm sorry, but if you really want to gain my trust, you're going to have to do much better than simply be a Southgater who thinks he's better than everyone. Okay, probier es halt. Mangels Optionen. After carefully listening to you, he responds in an unexpectedly calm manner. If you really are so keen on helping us, Slyly, then why not give you a chance? You do have energy. Alright, as you know, unless you've been living in the most remote cave unknown to humanity, Foundry is the largest exporter of iron in Lower Underrail. What's even better is that our mine is rich not just with iron, but aluminium, titanium and as of recently chromium. We discovered large amounts of it several months ago, in the form of chromite ore. Needless to say, as soon as we discovered it, our miners began following the chromite veins, and so, a few weeks ago, they mined into a new cavern and encountered the very creatures you mentioned. What they saw there was unlike anything we have ever seen or even heard before. These beings had shells made of rock, with metallic blades protruding from their backs. Yes, you heard me right. Shells made of rock. The creatures were aggressive, and we had to bring in the Foundry Guard to deal with them. Now those creatures, while resilient, were still no match for our brave troops. The true problem revealed itself when the guards encountered the beast. The beast? Yes, that thing may look like its smaller siblings, but it's in fact a four-legged boulder, a huge monster which stopped the Foundry Guard dead in its tracks. Meanwhile, it is unstoppable, and the guardsmen tried nearly everything. They shot it, burned it, threw grenades at it. Nothing. It's hard rock. Most of the men sent to clear the mines are now dead, and have no other options but to order the closing of the mine. This problem will be hurting Foundry really fast if we don't find a way to deal with those things. We have days, weeks at most, before we run out of ore supplies, after which all production will stop. What can I do to help? We need a solution to this problem, and we would appreciate it if you can help us find one. At one point we considered using explosives to collapse the tunnel and seal them off, but our mining supervisor advised us against it. What's worse, even though things have been a bit quieter in the mines for a few days now, the rock creatures are emerging from the mines and attacking our citizens. Even though all entrances to the mine are heavily guarded, some people have still gone missing. Mind if I interrupt you for a second, sir? Not at all, Chief, not at all. It was almost done. I was almost done anyway. Go ahead. As you see, young man, this is a problem which could, if left unsolved, mean the end of Foundry. The mine does not only feed the mouths of these people here, but also secures their protection. Do you think the Foundry Guard operates solely on goodwill? If you really want to help us, my suggestion is that you first speak with the only survivor from the unit that was tasked with clearing the mine. He knows more about the creatures than any one of us. His name is Seven Mulov, and you can find him at the mine entrance with the other guards. That is just east of Metalworks. Got it. Is that all? Nearly. You might also want to speak to Marcos Bonti. He's our mining supervisor. You'll also find him at mine entrance. He did advise us against collapsing that part of the mine with explosives, but talk to him again. Perhaps you could work out some solution to the problem. I believe we've gone through everything. I'm on the job. Well and good. Go now and report to us once you have something. Okay. Also, die Mine ist befallen von diesen Viechern. Und die Wache hier kommt eigentlich sogar mit denen klar. Aber es gab so eine Art, ja, Anführer. Oder ja, ein größerer Gegner. Mit dem sie nicht klarkommen. Der benimmt sich wie ein großer Felsen oder ähnliches. Und ist gegen alles, was sie versucht haben, immun. Und ich soll jetzt rausfinden, was man denn tun kann. Na gut. Ich muss sagen, ich habe ein bisschen mehr Respekt vor dem Spiel gekriegt, jetzt durch die letzten paar Stunden. Also dieses, ja, jetzt mal Gecrawle. Die... War denn das hier? Ja, hier entlang und hier wieder zurück. War doch einiges, was für mich zu dem Zeitpunkt nur schwer zu schaffen war oder gar nicht zu schaffen war. Dabei. Deswegen habe ich jetzt auch Respekt vor der Quest, zumal ich von der Hauptquest noch nicht nach Foundry geschickt wurde. Und eigentlich wollte ich ja sowieso erstmal alles andere fertig machen. Ja. Von dem her, ich gucke jetzt mal, was ich so auf die Schnelle... Ich werde einfach alles mal hier erkunden. Und notfalls lasse ich die Quest wieder liegen. Fürs Erste. Und gehe wirklich wieder zurück zu dem, was ich eigentlich tun wollte. Weil sonst wird's mir hier... Sonst reiße ich zu viele Baustellen auf einmal auf. Hello Dan. You see a man leaning on a rusty fence. Judging by his appearance, he seems to be one of the Foundry guards, but unlike the others, his watchful eyes seem more concerned with evaluating passing women than with trying to catch signs of unlawful behavior. He straightens up upon seeing you approach him, coming up just taller than average, picks up his rifle, which also placed against the fence, and offers a friendly, informal greeting. Hey man, how's it going? Das kannst du mir über Foundry sagen. Look friend, you better ask someone else to be your tour guide. My job is far too boring to further bore myself by answering boring questions. As you can probably see, I am bored. You seem pretty laid back in comparison to the other guards. He chuckles. You got me there. It might surprise you, but being a guard in Foundry is a very, very boring job. You gotta stand around all day, breathe this damn polluted air, and worst of all, you have to be nice to people. It sucks. I just wanna shoot things. It's that simple. The outer perimeter patrols at least get to fight something. But in here, absolutely nothing interesting happens. What about all those creatures that attacked the miners? Ah, yes. I was so happy about the wall of fire, cause I thought I was finally going to shoot some stuff, you see. But no. There's this large beast that's impervious to bullets and other stuff. Major told our chief to our area not to engage the creatures any longer and retreat back. We have to think about it, discuss it, blah blah. Yeah, I heard a few things about the beast. Can you tell me more about it? He looks around and leans closer. You see, we're not allowed to talk about all this stuff publicly, but since I don't really care about the rules, and cause I'm freaking bored as hell, here goes. You see, everyone's heard of the smaller creatures, the ones that look kinda like spiky rocks with 4 legs and an ugly snout. Well, those things got a bigger, better brother that's so heavily armored it makes our guns feel like toys. The damn thing is completely impervious to bullets. Now, everyone and their mother is wetting their pants, and the higher-ups are taking their sweet time in discussing what to do next. Harpers. Klingt eigentlich so, als wären meine Seilkräfte schon die Lösung. Wäre aber spieltechnisch unwahrscheinlich. Back in my day, my pals and me would take on everything. Man, beast or both. We had freaking guts, you know? Don't think just jump in the fight, but these guys in Foundry, hoppers, I tell ya. You mentioned some pals of yours? Yeah, well, back in the day I used to be a part of some bandit gang from Core City. Hey, life was tough, a man's gotta make a living somehow. If that includes relieving people of excess K-runs, then well... Anyway, we were all very young and fearless. We had the guts to fight anything and anyone. Unfortunately, many of us got killed because we had more guts than brains, but I miss that mentality. It was fun. Well, you seem to have done better than the others. Yeah, but if it wasn't for my best friend, I'd probably be decomposing in some ditch by now. Him and we used to be so close, like eyeballs. No, bad comparison, sorry. The point is, we were very close and we got into so much trouble together. Thankfully, we always pulled through. Who is this man? Gorski was his name. Den kennen wir doch. He was this big, strong bastard. Tough as hell. You know, no nonsense kind of guy who'd push you in the face and break every bone in it if you haven't looked at him the wrong way. He makes a brief pause. Damn. It's been like 13 years or so since I last saw him. I heard somewhere that he later went to Southgate Station. I miss that bastard. This place is so damn boring. You heard right, he did move to SGS. I too came from there and have had the pleasure of meeting the man. Well, I be damned, he laughs. This is incredible. How's my old pal holding up? From what you told me, I'd say he hasn't changed one bit. He laughs. I'm so glad that the man hasn't changed. He used to be a beast. You know what, when you see him again, tell him Dan 40 said hi. He'll recognize the name right away, unless his memory went to hell after all these years. Schreibe ich mir auch mal kurz auf, sonst vergesse ich das vielleicht. Tell Gorski about old friend Dan. Can you tell me an interesting story about you and Gorski? Why not? It's not like I'm busy. Okay, listen up. This one's from more than 10 years ago. The good old days. As I already mentioned, Gorski and I used to be a part of the same gang. Life was decent with those guys. We had the skills, had the courage, and because of that, we had a bit of money in our pockets. So, one day we were on the prowl, in the vicinity of Core City, when we ran into a rival gang's patrol, the Black Crawlers. They used to be the biggest, baddest gang in Core City, and even that little patrol seemed like an army in comparison to the few of us. First shots were instantly fired, and the very first one ended up blowing our point man's brain to smithereens. Poor guy. All of us got behind cover, exchanged fire with them for a while, and soon only Gorski and I remained breathing from our group. Bullets were flying all over the place, grenades exploded around us. It was pure chaos. A dozen of those damn crawlers were still alive, and they were slowly approaching our position. They started to surround us, and to make things worse, we were running low on ammo. That's when Gorski got mad. Oh, you should have seen that angry face. He took his last grenade, threw it in their general direction, and then charged them. They couldn't believe what they were witnessing. He had his maniacal grin that would scare a lurker into becoming a fungivore, and started mowing down our enemies. Of course, I just couldn't let him have all the damn fun. I stormed him too, and together we started annihilating everything that moved. I screamed from the top of my lungs while emptying my magazine into those poor fools. Just rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat. Anyway, soon enough, Gorski was out of ammo. But that didn't stop him from killing people. He punched them, stabbed them, and yelled at them until he found one measly guy behind cover whose teeth he smashed with the butt of his now empty gun, and then slit his throat with a knife. That guy ended up being the only son of the Crawler's leader, and his death would later cause us a lot of trouble, but that's a whole different story. All in all, soon after I fired my last shot, I heard the last Crawler release his dying groan. After a moment, once realized that it was indeed all over, Gorski approached me, still breathing heavily, all covered in blood. Then he said, I remember it clearly, he said, "We need to bring more bloody bullets next time." I could barely make out the last part of the sentence due to him bursting out into laughter. Oh man, it was all so crazy. To this day I have no idea how he survived against such slim odds. Well, just the two of us at least. That's amazing. You had to be there, man. You had to be there to fully experience the carnage. Those were the days again. Tell Gorski I said hi the next time you see him. Gotta move, see ya.